Hi everybody, Elizabeth here with Country Peony, and welcome to episode 7 of Coffee and Crafting. And today I have my really cute ghost mug. So I went to Michael's last week. All of their Halloween decorations were half off, and including this adorable ghost mug. I thought he would be perfect for my coffee and crafting, especially this time of the year. And so Coffee and Crafting is a very fun way just to craft in the afternoon. It's super casual, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. But I would love to hear where you're coming from. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Monday. It is stunning here. The sun is out, and I am ready to craft. So today we are going to be making these really fun paint pour pumpkins. So I made this pumpkin and this pumpkin behind me about 3 years ago now, and actually last year, because of the whole Barbie effect, Cosmopolitan picked them up and a couple of other people. So they're really popular. And so I wanted to show you a new technique. So I think this is a really fun and simple process that you can do this Halloween for yourself, with your children, with your grandchildren. It's a very fun process, but I will warn you, it is very messy. And also, if you're a perfectionist, this might be something where you just have a mental note before, because the paint is going to do what the paint wants to do. And honestly, I think that's part of the charm of this project. It's completely custom, completely unique. There are no two pumpkins that will ever be the same just because of the way the paint pours. But again, if you're a perfectionist, then I would definitely let some of that go aside for a moment. Or maybe this isn't the project for you, but that's okay. But again, I'm so happy all of y'all are here today. And please let me know where you're coming from. If you have any questions, please let me know. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm with Country Peony. And Country Peony is a DIY and craft blog. I'm based in Texas, here in my studio. And I just love to create simple, inexpensive crafts and spaces. Just to really inspire you to create in your own home. And so today we are making this paint pour pumpkin, and I've got in the description below, if you miss any of this tutorial, don't worry, I've got a full blog post tutorial in the description below for you. And I've also linked the products that I'm using today. Okay, so are you ready to get started? It's going to be really fun, really messy, but really fun. Okay, so I'm going to put my really cute coffee mug aside. Oh, and the reason why I call this Coffee and Crafting is because after lunch, I like to enjoy a nice warm cup of coffee, and I like to start crafting. So you grab your coffee and just enjoy. So today, for this project, this is the technique that we're using. If you check out my blog post, you'll see today we're going to do a different technique than this one. So when I created this blog post, I used a kind of a kit. It came with, I think, 4 or 5 different colors, and I put all of them into a cup, and then I poured it over the pumpkin. So you can do that, but I wanted to show you a little different technique today because that way you can get a little bit more direction with where you want the paint to go. Both techniques are great. Both techniques will work. It's just up to you what technique you prefer. Okay, so for this project, again, I went to Michael's last week and I got a lot of my supplies from there. All of their Halloween is half off, so you're in luck because their white pumpkins are half off, and I've linked the white pumpkins below. So you're going to need a white pumpkin. I recommend a white pumpkin just because it shows the color the best, but honestly, you can use whatever you have on hand. Especially if you're going to do like an orange, you can do a fun orange pumpkin. And that's another thing. With this project, the beauty with choosing your own colors is that you can. I've seen beautiful teal ones. I've seen gorgeous red ones. I just prefer pink. And so that's why I went with pink. But you can do whatever your heart desires. Okay, so I also like to have a wet napkin on standby because this is a messy process. And I recommend gloves. I'm not wearing gloves today. I've already ruined my manicure because of the paint, but it's totally up to you. Thank you, Kathy. I'm so happy you love the pink It's my favorite too, but it's really up to you. Okay, so you're gonna need a white pumpkin to start with, and you can even do this with real pumpkins. That's really fun. And then I'm just using, they have these paint pour stands that once you go to the craft store, you can see. I don't use those. I just use an old cup for this purpose. So something with the wide base that you can put your pumpkin on top of. And you can even add some tape here for added stability. I didn't. It's up to you. So you're going to need your white pumpkin, your cup or a stand that you don't mind getting dirty. And then I also have down below, I have just an old aluminum pan that I thrifted for this purpose. Whenever my kids come over and paint, I just put them on there and I use it for this. And then to keep it easy cleanup, I put some craft paper down below. Okay. And so for today's project, I'm actually using a company called Deco Art, and they had so many options in Michael's stores, so many different colors. So you'll have a lot of fun picking those. I went with a 3-color scheme, but you could go crazy. You could add all kinds of fun colors. You could even do a rainbow effect. That would be really cool. But I've got this darker pink and then a lighter pink and then a gold for some pizzazz. Just making sure that your colors have enough variation. You don't want to do a dark pink and then a kind of dark pink because you just want to be able to see those different layers. Okay? So, but again, the color scheme is totally up to you. When I did this one, you can see all the fun different layers in there. I think that's about 5 different colors in here. It's up to you and what look you're going after. Okay, but for today's purposes, we're just going to do these 3 different colors. Okay? And so let's get started. I do recommend gloves. I recommend wearing an apron. Not how I'm dressed today, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to put down our cup. And I'm going to put the pumpkin right on top of the cup, making sure it's flat. Great. Okay. Now we're going to shake our paint pour, and I'm going to start with a base with a dark pink base. And you can do this 2 ways. You can add this to a cup, or you can just do it directly from this paint. And this is a paint pour paint. It's an acrylic paint, but it's not just a craft paint. And I'm not sure if it's just a thinner paint. Basically allows for easier flow. So don't just use a regular craft paint. This is a paint pour paint. Okay, so we're going to get started. Are you ready? It's really messy. Okay, and so we're just going to heavily pour this on. I like to start at the base, and don't worry about your stem because you're going to cover that up later. But we're just going to put it all the way around the top. Just keep going. You can just keep adding. And that's why you have this residue down here, because it'll collect all of it. And I like to really cover it. Okay. Look how cool that is. You can start to see it's just coming down. It is its own art form, and you never know what you're going to get. Okay, so now we're going to do this light pink, the same thing. If you want, you can manipulate this a little bit. You can make sure the paint comes down a little bit more. It's totally up to you. So now we're going to do the same thing to the light pink. I'm just adding it to the top, and you will start to see it taking shape. So for this one, I'm going to hold it at the bottom. And I'm definitely going to start to manipulate that paint. Look how cool that is. Isn't that fun? Okay, just so it starts to slowly come down on all sides. Oh, that's so fun. Can you see the effect it's starting to make? I love it so much. Okay, so carefully place it on your cup. If not, it's going to roll down and you're going to have to start over. It does almost look like a spider web, Christy. It's really cool. And that's the thing, you never know what you're going to get. Okay, so I think it's always fun to add a little pizzazz. And so I've got this really cool gold paint pour. And same thing, I'm just going to add a little bit here. I'm not going to go crazy with it. Just really just adding to the top. Maybe add a little bit more. Just play with it. You never know what you're going to get. It needs a little orange. Yes, it is Halloween. That's right, Joe. But you know I'm not a big fan of orange. Sorry if you like orange. But I could see yours being orange. That would be really fun. Okay, look at that. So the gold is definitely taking over. How fun. Okay, so you can see where I'm going with this. Isn't that cool? Okay, so I'm going to bring it more this way. You can see it's not completely even, and that's okay. And as it dries and as it'll continue, gravity will continue to pull the paint down. And you can see why I recommend wearing gloves. Okay, so we've done 3 layers, 1 of each color. I want to get some more of that pink in there, and so I'm going to come back over with the darker pink. Glitter would be perfect. I was just thinking of that this morning. Like a gold foil would be really cool. Thank you, Christy. That's a really good suggestion. And that's it. At the end, you can add glitter. You could add whatever you want. And so I'm just adding another dark color in here. And the beauty with adding them all together and then pouring it on there is that you don't have to do this every time. It just kind of forms itself. This gives you just a little bit more direction with what you want to do. Okay. And so then I'm going to add the pink again. And I'm going to do it a little bit heavier this time. And okay, so we're just continuing to watch it pour. You can really go crazy on this side or the other side. But again, it's a very messy process. I recommend you can do this outside or over like a tray like I have here. If it's not too windy, it can't be too windy because then your pumpkin's going to fall and it's going to be frustrating. Okay. So we are continuing to pour, and I'm just going to continue to keep doing the layers like I've been doing. I'm going to do another dark pink. I think that's really pretty. And just going for it. Okay. So I did a little less than this time so you could still see the pink underneath. But I just love watching it. And like I said, as it continues to dry, it will continue to take shape and be a really cool pumpkin. So again, if you want to see the full tutorial, I've got the process when you add it to a cup and you paint it over on the blog if you want to check that out. I've linked it in the description below. But you can just keep adding and adding and adding, and it's just going to be so much fun. So I like how abstract and cool and wonderful and just unexpected this is. I think this is a really cool process, and I know you're going to love this. I'm going to get some of this paint off. And now I want to show you how I finish the pumpkin because if you're going to add this much pizzazz to the actual pumpkin, I definitely think you need to paint the stem because I'm not really feeling this dark stem. Okay, so we're going to set this aside to dry carefully so it doesn't fall. And I'm just going to set it over here so you can still see it as it starts to slowly, continually. I'm going to put a little bit more on this side. It's going to start to fall on this side, which is so cool. Okay, you can see how you can manipulate that and make it look really cool. Okay, so now I'm just going to finish it off by painting the stem at the top. And to get a really fun and saturated gold, I love this Treasure Gold by Plaid. It's a beautiful, beautiful, rich gold, as you can see. Okay, so I did this one yesterday, and I think it's really fun. Just really cool. The same process that I used here. Now with these, I did the cup method where I put all of it in once and then I just poured it over. Okay, so now all we're going to do is we're going to paint that stem so that it looks nice and shiny. And also too, because I don't know if you noticed, I've got paint on the stem. You can always tape it over before you get started. I knew I was going to paint the stem after, so I didn't do that. But you will just continue. This paint is beautiful, but you have to do several different coats to really get the effect. And so I'm going to do one coat here, and then after it dries, I'm going to do another coat, and I'm going to do the same thing to this guy. So they both have beautiful gold stems on them, like this one. Okay? So I've added my one coat. Again, you're going to need another coat. But I think it's looking so, so fun, so cute, so unexpected. And ultimately, the process was fun. And I'd mentioned earlier that if you are a perfectionist, just enjoy the process. And this might be really good for you because it might be good just to kind of just go with it, you know? So ultimately, I think it's really fun. I love how it turned out. Again, this is a different process. This is when I put all of them together and then I just poured it over. So it's really up to you. I hope this inspires you to do something a little fun and different with your Halloween decorations this year, at least using a different color. I've used pink. I have pink ghost all over my studio. It's been such a joy to embrace Halloween in this way, something that feels more me. And so I hope you find your own way, and I hope this inspires you just to create something fun just for the sake of creating. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you next Monday at noon Central Standard Time for another episode of Coffee and Crafting. And until next time, happy crafting.